Hello everyone, thank you for joining me here with Lawrence again, and today's topic is how to dream big. Now, something that I've experienced in my few years on Earth is that society doesn't necessarily encourage big thinking, big dreaming. You know, at school, at varsity, at work, if you say to people, you know what, I want to buy an island in Fiji, create a resort and be a yoga instructor for the rest of my life, they're like, look at you as if you're speaking a different language. You know, but if you say to them, I'd just like to save for the next 25 years, a small portion of my salary so that I can live a very modest lifestyle after my pension, people are very happy with that. And I guess that's what we need to break is the mindset that dreaming big is possible and that we don't just need to settle for the mediocre. So that's what I'd like to challenge us today, to speak about how to dream big. So I've got 3 ideas for you. The first idea is for you to imagine that you've got everything you need to achieve any goal. You've got all the money that you need, you've got all the skills, you've got all the people, you've got the mentors, you've got the coaches, you've got everything that you would need. Now, knowing that, what would you do? What goal would you set for yourself, and what dream would you like to live? Now, there's 2 folds to this question, because you can look at it at what you would be doing if you had everything you would ever need, and what would you have. So what would you be doing? Would you be teaching English in schools in Thailand? Would you be doing anti-bullying programs for government schools in poorer communities? Would you be writing fictional novels that are in comparison to that of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter? Would you write a book with the intention that it becomes a Universal Studios picture? That's actually personally a dream that I've got right now. I'm busy writing the book, and it's exciting. It's exciting. I don't know how the hell I'm going to do it. I really don't. But I know that it's possible. And that hopefully one day I'll be sharing it with my closest friends and family, that I was able to achieve that goal. So what would you do, and what would you have? Would you have a beautiful house with golden chandeliers and diamond-crusted flooring? Would you have a yacht? Would you have a nice house in a modest area with a good suburb and good schools around? Would you have a family? So it's really important. Lifestyle design is all about knowing, what do you want, beginning with the end in mind. What's the ideal state here? The next step and the next idea is to focus on the why. The why is the driving force behind everything in our lives. So if I had to do a quick example for you, you have 2 options. The first option is to work for 2 years in a row, every day, Monday to Sunday, 8 to 5. And after you've done that, I'll pay for a ticket for you to fly down to Cape Town for a weekend and fly back up. The second option is for you to work 5 years, 8 to 5, Monday to Sunday. But after you've completed that, I will pay for a round trip to go to any place in the world for 6 months, and I will pay your accommodation, your food, so you don't have to work, you just have to enjoy the culture that you're in. So if it's Australia, you can go and live in Australia for 6 months, all expenses paid. Which option would you choose? 2 years for a weekend in Cape Town, or 5 years for 6 months anywhere in the world to go and experience that culture? For me, very easy, I would put in the 5 years. I wouldn't mind working 5 years, which is 3 years longer than my first goal, the first option, because I know what the reward would be afterwards, the why. I would be able to stay motivated for those 5 years because I know why I'm doing it. And why that's important with your dream is because you're going to get a lot of people around you constantly telling you can't do it. It's impossible. You're outrageous. You're being ridiculous. And that's where you have to look at, why am I doing this, and have that as a motivator. For me, I know that books, although there is still a big market for it, more of people would be touched if I had a movie. I'd be able to inspire more people with a movie. And I love the message that I've got. I believe in this message without a doubt, that I know that this book has got something special to do for, if it's just even one person. And if I get it onto a movie, it will be able to be shown to more people and have a bigger impact. And for me, that is such a driver. If I can impact people, I know that I'm doing something good in this earth. So you've got to know your why. The third idea is, once you've got your why, is figure out your how. There's a beautiful story of the French when they were going through the Algerian desert. They went from the coastline to the middle of the city. Now, the desert doesn't necessarily have maps or street names or GPS, you know what I mean? that's not existing there. So what they had to do was figure out a way to get there without getting lost. So what they did is they got black oil drums and they placed them 5 kilometers away from each other from the coastline all the way to the city. And all they did is when they arrived at the coastline, they were able to see the first black drum. And they walked to that first black drum, and when they got there, they were able to see the second black drum. And they walked over there, and then the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, and the sixth, etc. And that's the thing with the how, is once you've got your dream, is to ask yourself, if this was possible, how would it be possible? Giving your mind the freedom to explore some options, really, and explore some solutions. So if I had to take my book, my first book that I was able to write, I started with how would it be possible, and I said, well, probably the first thing I need to do is sit down and write. You know, whether it's a sentence, a paragraph, a story, a speech, whatever it is. And as I started to do that, I started to see, well, I've written now my first paragraph, I can actually write a sort of a conclusion to this paragraph and an opening, and I had my first little story. It was a page long, I was really excited. Then I went to my second page, third page, then I started to see there's a chapter. Then I got to the next oil drum and I saw, well, actually there's a message here for this book. This book is around changing the game and how do you change your perspective. And then I started creating the other chapters, and every time I got past one oil drum, I started to see, there's the next one. It's that how. How is it possible? How would I be able to get to the next step? I hope that makes sense. So guys, in summary, the 3 ideas I have for how to dream big is, first, the what, is knowing what do you want, where do you want to be, what do you want to be doing, etc. The next step is to know your why, which is really the motivation behind getting the stuff done. So knowing what's going to drive you when things get tough. And then the last one is the how, is what steps you're going to take, what oil drums are you going to reach for. When you get them, what is the next oil drum? What are the steps you need to take to get to where you want to be? I've got my next episode being recorded next week. It's going to be about how to get things done, which will dive into a little bit more about the how bracket. So what kind of activities and goals can we set for ourselves? How can we schedule these things to make sure that they become as real as we can? So guys, thank you very much for joining me here again today. And if you keep practicing these tips and techniques, soon you'll also be able to change the game. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found some value in what I said. If you want to further your self-awareness and self-development and go on this journey with me, there are 4 things you can do. The first one is subscribe to my channel. The second one is go check out my Facebook or Twitter accounts. I do daily posts, maybe that could inspire you. You can go and check out my book on Amazon, Changing the Game, 10 Perspectives to Taking Charge of Your Life. And lastly, go check out my website, www.lawrencebull.com, to go and see my newsletter, other posts, and other things that might be of interest. Hope to see you soon. Bye.